One got knocked down, he won't get up again. The other went knocked him down. One got knocked down, and now he's fucking dead. The other went knocked him out. Combo breaker!
There's nothing more terrifying than someone tracking you down and murdering you brutally. Just think of all those awful, crazy-ass, terrifying serial killers. You got, Jason, Ted Bundy, Leatherface, all that crazy shit. But for some reason, we think it's scarier when the killer is a kid or a teenager. Like the 3 fighters that I have in this little tournament I'm going to be hosting. So, welcome to the first round of this multiple round tournament involving 3 fighters. Johnny the homicidal maniac, Jeff the killer, and the kid. For round 1, we'll have Johnny the homicidal maniac versus Jeff the killer. Jeff the killer. I hate horror stuff so much, but yet you guys keep asking for more horror battles. I especially hate those creepypastas. Those things scare the shit out of me. So, without further ado, let's hop into Jeff's 1 power and his arsenal. Jeff the killer has 1 ability. It's called mental breakdown. Basically, he can make any teenager, normal, adult or kid, absolutely terrified to the point of paralyzation by, scaring the shit out of them. However, the opponent must be pretty much he can't have done anything horribly wrong or viewed or seen anything horribly wrong. Now, he also wields his iconic butcher's knife that he can use to stab, hack, and slash through his opponents, and he's got 2 of these things. Now, he's not limited to hacking and slashing, he also does have a tendency to throw these things. Hell, now let me just get into these feats. He's actually strong enough to hack and slash and kill humans with his knife alone, and he's even been able to cut off Slenderman's tentacles before. And not to mention that actually hurt Slenderman. He's quick enough to fight and avoid attacks from Slenderman and from normal humans. However, he has been hit by humans before, and he survived hits from Slenderman as well as surviving 16 gunshots, and he took it like it was nothing. However, he was knocked down after a few more shots after this. Now, Jeff is a genius killer. He's performed many murders on his own, and he's mastered the craft of just murder, but he is insane. And don't get me wrong, he isn't perfect either. You see, Jeff only has his knife. Without it, he can't really do much. Not to mention, he wears bright white, making him glow in the dark. He's not really using any stealth tactics here. He's gonna be coming straight at you, and he's gonna stab you. Johnny the homicidal maniac. I gotta say, this is an interesting series to say the least. It's actually written by the guy who does Invader Zim. It's also really dark and fucked up. So, let's talk arsenal then. Johnny wields a huge-ass array of weapons, like dozens of knives that he uses to shove inside of people's mouths. A hammer, a handgun, some machetes, and of course a taser. He's also got other assorted weapons like saws and whatnot, but they're not too important to mention here. He also uses these things to kill people in various ways. Like with his raw strength, when he's actually ripped out a person's brain through their skull. He can shove dozens of knives into a person's mouth, and he smashed a guy's head in with a hammer. He's also butchered many other people in other vicious and just horrifying ways. As for speed, he's really not too impressive, but he is fast enough to chase down victims while they're high on adrenaline and terrified, which is decently impressive. It's just not to the same level as other crazy fictional characters. When it comes to durability, he's been electrocuted by multiple electronics all at once. He actually enjoys being tortured and being attacked. He's had his head slammed against the floor, and on a few occasions, he's had someone stab their fingers into him, but he'll keep getting back up after that because he enjoys the pain. And when it comes to intelligence, that's actually technically his biggest weakness. You see, Johnny is mentally unstable. Although he does always know the right place to stab a person, but he does let his insanity get the best of him more often than not. Alright, quick rule before we get into this. Each fighter will have exactly 1 day to prepare for this fight. That's it. Jeff is walking through the woods when he stumbles upon a school. He walks in to see the lights flickering dimly in the hallway. Jeff looks around and hears a creepy laugh that echoes through the school. When Jeff looks in front of him, he sees Johnny standing there at the end of the hallway as he stares at Jeff. Jeff laughs and runs at Johnny and stabs his knife forward, but Johnny dodges and then dodges to the left and kicks him in the back of the knee. Jeff stumbles forward as Johnny grabs his head and slams it into the wall, causing Jeff to fall to the ground. Johnny goes to kick Jeff, but Jeff slashes his leg open with his knife as he stands back up. Johnny grabs his knife and slashes at Jeff, who steps back and kicks Johnny in the gut. He then follows up with an upward swing of his blade, knocking Johnny's knife from his hand. Johnny then grabs his machetes and swings one at Jeff, sticking into his shoulder as he spins and slashes the other one at Jeff's head. Jeff blocks with his knife and headbutts Johnny, causing him to stagger back. Jeff then throws his knife into Johnny's chest. Johnny stares at Jeff as he pulls out his gun and shoots him multiple times in the chest. Jeff collapses onto his knees as Johnny runs over with his scythe and tries to swing it at Jeff, who stabs Johnny in the gut. Jeff starts to stand back stand back up as Johnny shoves his scythe straight through his neck and pulls Jeff in close. Johnny then throws Jeff to the ground and rips his brain out through his skull. Alright, big thanks to Cornel Keith, Simple Star, and Super Saiyan Warrior for all their help, especially Super Saiyan Warrior for providing pretty much all the feats on Johnny. This was an interesting episode. It was stupidly close, actually. So our winner is Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and like I said, this fight was close as hell. Like, actually, listen to these stats. Strength and durability is about dead even, with small wall to small room level, as Jeff has kept up with Slenderman and hurt him and even survived 16 pistol rounds. Johnny, on the other hand, has ripped out a human brain through his skull and survived being electrocuted by many, many electronics all at the same time. Those things would have killed normal humans. This would put them both at about wall to small room level. When it comes to speed, both clock in about peak human, as Johnny is able to chase down terrified people who are running away, and Jeff is quick enough to fight Slenderman and chase down his victims, putting them both at about equal speed. So, this match comes down to 2 X factors. The first one is pain tolerance. Johnny enjoys pain and being tortured. He isn't even affected by pain very often. Whereas Jeff, yeah, he acts tough, but he still feels the pain. 16 pistol shots, while he can survive it, it has actually knocked him out a few times. So we do know that he can feel the pain and he can bleed out. And yeah, Johnny feels the pain, but he enjoys it and thrives off it. So the second X factor is arsenal. Jeff wields 2 knives that he can use to hack and slash. He can also throw them, but without him he's screwed. He doesn't have much hand-to-hand combat experience. But Johnny, on the other hand, has his knives, his machetes, his handgun, and a taser, and so much more. These weapons are going to fuck up Jeff the Killer in this match so easily, and when push comes to shove, he's pretty vicious with his hands too. We saw him rip out a human's brain through his skull. There's nothing Jeff has done that even comes close to that kind of vicious hand-to-hand combat. Looks like Jeff took a killer loss. Our winner is Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. As for the next episode of this tournament, this will not be the next episode of Combo Breaker. We still gotta do Frank West versus Joel, and then there'll be episodes coming after that. But for the next round of this tournament, we actually have the Kid versus Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. First of all, let me thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this to any friends you know who like versus debates. And, tell me what you think of the next match. Give me your predictions, maybe suggest matches in the comments, and they might happen.